Welcome home, neighbors, to episode 330 of the My DVC Points podcast. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at dvcresalemarket.com. And without further ado, I'm going to welcome Sue Saunders to the show from DVC Resale Market. So how you doing today, Sue?
I'm doing good. And you, Chad?
Oh, I am doing phenomenal. I am glad to be back in Orlando. I had a little extended time in Detroit. So
cold.
yeah, cold and some unfortunate circumstances, but
Oh.
yeah, we made it through it, and I'm back now. So the average listeners and if I don't have a regular show out here, I get people posting in the Facebook group, "What's up? Where are you?" And I'm like, "Well, we had a little bit of a family situation to take care of that extended my stay in Michigan." And so, but we're on the road back into recovery and recording and getting our shows out and caught up on that. So thank you everybody for just bearing with me through this little delay, because I don't like to be late on my recordings or late on shows or any of that stuff. But in today's show, we're going to talk about our market recap report. And every month we go over Disney's Right of First Refusal. Then we'll talk about average sales prices and inventory. And then we'll come back into our listing spotlight. And I actually like having the most fun on listing spotlight, because that gets into the nitty gritty of what we think is a hot listing that's out there and why we think it's that way. And I like covering because people then understand from like a little bit of insider's perspectives as to what a really smoking hot good deal is. So if we teach them how to find them, Sue, they're going to find them on the website and call you to back in and snag it up. Because ironically, the ones we talk about end up going like that. So somebody watching the show, catching a replay, something like that, usually ends up buying them pretty darn quick after the show. So let's jump back into this, Sue, with our Right of First Refusal from last month.
Yep. So we had 24 contracts were bought back, and that's out of 916 that were sold. So you're looking at about a 2.6% buyback rate, which again isn't where it used to be a few years ago, up to the 20%. But the ones that were bought back, Animal Kingdom is still leading the pack with having the most buybacks, and that was 9 contracts. So about a 12% buyback on the Animal Kingdoms. And then what was surprising was Grand Floridian. We had 5 contracts bought back on Grand Floridian with prices between 155 and 163 a point. Now, prior to that, in January, the highest they bought back from Grand Floridian was at 131. So, people thought that they were away from the ROFR monster at 155 to 163, but no,
look,
they weren't.
I'm just going to jump to the next section. 163 was the average sales price, and they bought back at average. Usually,
correct.
Like Disney, you buy back at below average, just so in case you guys forgot, that's how you do this. And so that makes it safe for us, the consumers, to come back in and, we know we're going to get the deal if we come a little bit above average, and you guys need to stay below average. That's the way that works. They don't get this confused, right?
Right. So by looking at this, what we're thinking about is that the Grand Floridian resale prices are going to go up.
Yeah,
If they're buying them back at the average, to get away from ROFR, you're going to have to go higher.
Yeah, that's kind of the way that works. I mean, the people I know on the inside, when they give me a little bit of a headway, they're like, we don't like resale. We want the prices low. We don't want people buying resale. Well, okay, you're going to drive up the prices, guys. So I take it for what it's worth.
Yep.
But then we had another Grand Cal bought back last month.
Yes, we did.
And it looks like an Old Key West here as well. No, Old Key West was from January. Yep.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So just looking at the data, yeah, it was January at 73, nothing this month. And then 210 for Grand Cal. That's striking range, because they sell that for like 325.
Right.
So even at 220, everything there is at risk. Because normally the DVC likes to have about a $60 a point spread before they step in. And now they've got $100 plus. So if you're buying Grand Cal resale these days, just know the mouse is out there. He's going to steal your deal. And
Have something in your back pocket.
yeah, and just I normally clarify this in every show. Right of first refusal is Disney's right to come back in. If I were to sell my contract to you, the listener out there, Sue would write up our deal and she would submit it over to Disney. And Disney then has the right to step in as the buyer. They can replace you as the buyer on my contract for all the same exact terms and conditions. And when that happens, we say the ROFR monster got hungry and came out for a little snack and he stole your deal. I still get paid as the seller, the original prices and everything that I agreed to, but you, the buyer, are just out of luck. And having that happen to me when I was buying resale, Sue, thank goodness. But having talked to a lot of people that it has happened, it's usually not a fun ordeal. And you generally kind of want to avoid it.
Yep, especially when you figure that the average time that you're in right of first refusal process is about 25 days. So that means you have purchased this, it's been sent over to Disney, and 25 days later, 23 this past month, but now the past couple weeks we've been averaging about 25. And so you've waited that length of time only to find out that they bought it back, and you as the buyer now get your deposit back, but now you're looking for another contract.
Yeah, you're starting from ground zero again.
Yep.
And that has been as high as 27, 30, whatever. So when I saw 23 days here, I was like, man, the ROFR monster's got a fast pass, right?
Yep. Yeah.
They're not wasting time on these, but now they're back to dragging their feet at 25. So that's good to know. But I'm still claiming they got a fast pass at 23 because they definitely set that thing up.
Right. It's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, Sue, let's come back over here and officially come over to average sales prices. And I last month we're in a buyer's market just simply due to the fact that all the DVC dues are due in January and that nothing really encourages members to come back in and reevaluate, do I really need this contract? And like a couple $1,000 due statement in the mail from DVC.
Right.
So when those come out, it generally puts more contracts on the market. The good news is come January, cabin fever starts setting in for those of the northern states, and we start dreaming of Florida and sunshine, and we start shopping. And so the listings go up when the urge to buy goes up, which is perfectly timed, in my opinion.
Right.
I just love it. I love it how that works out.
It's been nice and brisk.
It really is. It's kind of like a yin and yang there in the DVC ecosystem, right? You just kind of got to love that, right? But in looking at this, so Animal Kingdom was up $2. Anything, $2-3 doesn't me that much. Bay Lake was about the same. A little bit of a rise back for Beach Club, which I still don't understand. $139 for that contract with 15 years left. That's people an emotional decision and really buying they love.
But people love it, and they know that being a small resort, if they want to stay there for a full vacation during specific time of year, they need to own it. They need that 11-month booking window,
especially if they want a studio.
Oh yeah.
One bedroom's easiest to get, 2 bedrooms second easiest, right? But them studios, they're hard to get there.
They definitely are.
Yeah, Copper Creek's relatively stable from what we're seeing. And Grand Floridian started to drop down a little bit. Like we talked about in the last segment, I think the ROFR monster is going to push this back up.
Definitely. It's got to go up.
Yeah. And then Old Key West at 84. Sue, that's a head scratcher.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Old Key West is a good deal right now. What we're seeing in the prices, and 84 being the average price, but later on when we discuss some of the hot contracts that I picked out, you're going to see an Old Key West in there, and the price is very good on it. And you still have, you've got great rooms. It's got a nice point chart to it. The rooms are big, and you can't beat the price.
Best bang for your buck in terms of points for square footage in the rooms. It's an insane deal for how huge the rooms are over there. And I personally love the resort.
I do too.
to me, it's got the most homey apartment like vacation home feel.
Yes.
I love my Copper Creek. I love my Animal Kingdom, but it feels like I'm in a condo, not a house.
Right.
And it's just something with the window shape and like multiple windows and multiple directions in the rooms. Even in a
Yeah.
studio, you can look out the front or the back.
Right.
Okay. And you go to a Saratoga or someplace like that that's these condo styles or apartment styles, and the front is your door and it goes to a hallway and there's no windows.
Right.
And all of your windows are out the back, and that's it. That's all you got.
It's
Not the
funny
case.
because
Yeah.
I was visiting my sister-in-law staying over at Old Key West the other night, and they were in a one-bedroom in building number 11. And I just sat in there and I said, the first time I came down here, which was the first day it opened, that January in 1992, and we sat there and we said, if we could buy this, we'd live here. I mean,
Mhm,
it has plenty of room to it.
mhm.
It's very open and perfect. But you're right. It's more like a house
Yeah.
instead of being an apartment.
Yeah, so do the math on like $84 by 15 years left.
Hmm.
You're gonna come out with about $6 a point is what you're paying over there.
Yeah.
And I bring that up because as we get down here, like I'm looking at the Old Key West Extended. Now you have an extra 15 years,
Right.
okay, for that 20 something dollars. And so that's going to really bring your point per year cost down right there.
Yep.
But, it's still considerable, but because you got an extra 15 years there. But
Right.
Poly at 158, I think 160, 158, I think that's about right where the market should be.
Yeah.
And about $60 below Disney. And to me, I hope it stabilizes here. And it was in the 150s prior to this tower announcement and it spiking. So
Hmm.
let's hope it stays here.
I think we're going to see it that it is stabilizing out. And I mean, we had initially, before the tower opened, there was a lot of hustle and bustle, and people selling the poly had prices that were high because we knew that Disney was going to be selling it and that the tower was going to be part of the original poly.
Yeah.
But after they started to sell and with their incentives, some of our sellers wanted to keep their prices higher, and we had to talk with them about lowering the prices
If you
because
want it
they
to
were not
sell,
being
yeah.
competitive. Yep.
Yeah. If you want it to sell, it's, market demands, right? I
Right.
can buy direct from Disney for it's $20 more a point. I'm going to really reconsider, for $20 and I can go anywhere with these points and I'm always in Disney's good graces and there's no other shoe that's going to drop.
Right.
So I think I'm just going to pay the $20, right? That's just
It
me.
it is. And to me, it's worth it. Definitely
Yeah.
worth it, because it goes right into the same category as Animal Kingdom. When you look at the length of time left on the contract with that extension. So,
Yeah. It's right there, neck and neck with Animal Kingdom.
yep.
Now, just doing our math on the low point per year leader here has to be Riviera
Yes.
because there's 40 something years left on that. And at $120, you're solidly in the $3 a point range or
Yep.
lower. Okay. If you can get it back down into the 116 and find a banked Euro points or something like that on that resort, because when did that open up? 2019. So there's a solid 45,
Mhm.
44 years left on that contract. You're well below $3 a point.
Right.
And you just have to be willing to only stay at Riviera because that's or trade it into international. Yeah, What is it? International.
Interval International.
Interval International. I want to
Yep.
keep saying RCI because that's what it was when I came in, but Disney switched back to II at this point in time. So
Yep.
you can book Riviera or you can send them over to II, and you can let a non-family member come back in and stay at Saratoga Springs on your points. Makes
Right.
no sense to me, Disney, but hey, it is what it is. And then
And
90,
Saratoga Springs is still that's a good deal.
it's still not a bad deal. Sub
Yeah.
$100. It's
Yep.
really not.
And they
And
still have reasonable dues. So you've got time on the contract. And you have that 11-month booking availability or window with having the treehouse villas, which is they're very nice.
Yeah, they're very nice. To me, Sue, the 11-month window there means I always have something in Walt Disney World.
Correct.
Because if it's a Run Disney weekend or some hot event weekend, everything in DVC will sell out, and that's the
Right.
largest resort. So you're going to have the best chances of getting a room there as opposed to the smaller boutique resorts.
Correct. Correct.
So
I always say to people that if you can't get a room at Saratoga Springs, you really don't want to be here, because that means that we are going to be full
yeah,
and it's going to be extremely busy.
yeah, that's true. That's very true. Now, if you're waiting till like a month out or so, we're always going to be full from people with points expiring, filling in cracks and last minutes, and people trying to grab up a reservation and rent it and all of that. So, but now here's my little darling gem, $93 at Alani, Sue.
Yes.
And we have 38, 39 years left out here.
Yep.
That's a smoking good deal, Sue. It's
And
just,
we know that it's not going to be bought back. Disney's still selling that, actively selling it. So there's no way they're going to buy it back.
yeah, the ROFR monster ain't touching Alani. You
Nope.
are safe there. And the Disneyland Hotel, nothing sold last month. And
Nope.
we're seeing the steady decline here in the Grand Cal, including one ROFR at 210.
Right.
And then the real hot gems here are looking at 61 for Hilton Head and
Yeah.
46 for Vero. That's about $3 a point for Vero as well. So even though the dues are high, if you're looking to just get into the vacation club with minimal upfront costs, do not sleep on Vero Beach.
Right.
So that is I need minimal upfront buyer cost right now. Nirvana, man. Like that at $46. Because I always look at this and I go, Sue, let's say I hold this the average 7 to 8 years that members do. Well, in 7 to 8 years, you've kind of got 7 to 8 years left on the contract. If you bought in at $46, it's not going to go down that much more.
No.
Whereas
it isn't. The others will.
Yeah. Whereas if we scroll back up here to Beach Club,
yeah,
and you're looking at this with 7, 8 years left, I doubt you're going to get anywhere near 134 for that. So,
right.
At some point in time, the expiration date will start impacting these and dragging down prices. And when it does, if you've bought Vero at $46 a point, or maybe you've even negotiated down to 41 or below for a strip contract, you're going to be sitting pretty at the end of that.
The thing that surprises me is when I bought Vero, I was a cast member, and at that time they gave cast members discounts on the vacation club. I bought Vero at $48 a point.
Wow.
And they were trying to sell it out. They gave an incentive and they gave me the cast discount. So when I see prices that are below what I paid for it, and you can, and we'll have one of those contracts in one of the ones that I pulled today, because it's a great buy. You're not putting in a lot of money. And yes, the dues are higher, but when you look at it for the time that's left on the contract,
yeah,
it kind of, the cost being so low kind of outweighs those dues being high.
Yeah, the market corrects for those high dues.
Yep.
And that's where we're at with that. And yes, I don't sleep on Vero Beach, and especially if you love the resort. Now, I personally could pass on Vero Beach. I mean, I will go back there if I could go for Turtle Week or something where it's just like a really special phenomenon over there. Or one of my family members is here and they want to go do, the Atlantic side, even though I'm a side kind of guy. Okay. I would go over there and book something, but it's not my favorite resort, but I definitely see the wisdom in buying it if you need low cost of entry.
Yep.
Into that. So, okay. Yeah, so I think that's kind of it, Sue. Just summing this up, I still think just looking at the prices and the slight just dips down or stable and listings are kind of going up a little bit, I still say we're firmly in a buyer's market now.
Definitely are.
Yeah. Okay. And that's good to know, because that means if you're looking to buy into DVC right now, you got some choices that are out there. And just moving over into the choices that are out there, we're seeing 553 listings at the time of recording and broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's up from last month, is it not?
It is up. Right now, the leader in listings is Saratoga Springs. I counted 89 listings before we went on the air, and then it's followed by Animal Kingdom with 69 listings, Grand Floridian at 54. So we're seeing, higher listings, and the nice thing is between Saratoga Springs and also the Animal Kingdom, their prices are good. They still have length of time on the contract. Their prices are good. And especially with Saratoga, their dues are not bad. So you can get some really good deals out there right now. And you've got a lot of choices, as you said.
Yeah, a lot of choices. And I just clicked this and it looks like, this is how fast you guys move from 89 to 81 from the time you prepped.
Right.
Because I will prep for a show and I will see this number jump by 10 digits within like an hour of me prepping for the show. So it's when I tell everybody you guys are the 500-pound gorilla of the resale market, this kind of proves it because we can't even prep for a show and get good numbers. And in this upcoming segment where we talk about, hot deals and listings, I have tried for 3 months in a row now to get my DVC Point community members on Facebook to share their listings with me so that I can highlight them on a show. And every single month, Sue, that I get one, you guys sell it before I get to broadcast. Like, it's just like insane. So I'm like, okay, well, that was a great idea, but apparently I don't broadcast enough or fast enough, or y'all are just like moving them too quick. So
they do move fast. I had a client today who I spoke with yesterday, and we figured out what she needed for her family. And there was a great listing out there. And today it was gone.
Oh, hopefully she got it, right?
No, she didn't. We had to look for another listing for her.
That's the worst, man. That's the worst, Sue. Because you put all this emotional energy into finding a listing, and it's just like you fall in love with this contract and you negotiate the great price, and then the ROFR monster steals it or another buyer does. So you got to move quick. I remember I lost several of them when I was in my buy phase because I was just getting permission from Laura. I'd find it. I'd go, okay, this looks like the great deal. Okay, honey, what do you think? By the time I got done with honey, you think, it was gone.
Right.
And so finally she just said, you know what? I trust you. You know what you're doing. Find something that works and go for it. I'm in. I'll sign. I was like, okay. And then that's when we were able to finally start buying contracts. But, that's why the importance of this show, Sue, is we help educate people as to what's a good deal, what's not, what other members think, how do they think and react. And so you can do all of that research ahead of time so that when you get ready to go find a contract, you come in prepared and you're ready to do business. And you're when you see a good deal, you're able to jump on it. And so that's kind of the point here. But let's come back in now and shift over to our market listings here. Let me check comments real quick. And so Andrew is tuning in right now. He's waiting to pass ROFR on a Saratoga at 95. So
good price.
Good price. And then Rob says hi as well. And back from our community hall days, Randy just jumped in with his countdown posts because that's how we normally start a live show, unless it's a market recap report, is when's everybody going home. And so just so we know, 14 days till Riviera for the Wiley family, and 141 days to Boardwalk, Epcot, after hours, and then 248 to Saratoga Springs.
I love it.
Yeah, that's DVC member lifestyle right there.
It is.
Okay. It's because, once you get the annual pass and you got prepaid points, well, it's like my park tickets are paid, my points are paid. All I need is a flight deal. And or drive or something like that. So yeah, that's DVC member life right there. So anyway, Sue, let's come over to your first highlighted listing here.
Okay.
And it looks like this one is a Vero Beach.
It is a Vero Beach. And this is also a certified hot price. So last month we had a promotion that was red hot deals. And the red hot deals were non-negotiable. They were sellers who agreed to put their property on the market at 10% below market value. And so most people, they'll negotiate anywhere between 1 to 7% off. And this was a straight 10%, so no more negotiation on it. And those were selling like hotcakes. Well, we have quite a few left over. We still have, out of it, when I last looked, 41 contracts that are now certified hot price, which means that they are 10% below market value and they're non-negotiable. So what you see is the way it's going to be. If you are
$38.
right, $38. And that's why I pulled this one, because not only, I mean, it's a 300-point contract for $38, which brings the price to $11,400 for 300 points. And yes, the dues are high. You can see they're $4,291 a year. But if you were to buy one of the contracts out there, even Saratoga Springs or an Animal Kingdom or Bay Lake, you're going to pay more for it. Less in dues, but more right up front. And you're not going to be able to get 300 points for the same amount of money.
No, you're not. And that's coming out to 253 and a third per point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's holy bejeebers. Compare that with 225 a point direct. Okay.
Yeah. That's why I pulled this one, because to me, it's really good. If you're interested in great deals, try the certified hot price. When you go onto the listings under the status, I
can demo that. So
you can go under status and go down, and you're going to see where it says reduced. You're going to see certified hot price. If you click on that, that's going to give you every listing that's a certified hot price, non-negotiable, 10% already off.
Wow.
So there are choices out there, and they're good choices. Some of them have full points for 2025. Some of them even have some points from 2024 that are banked.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and this Alani one caught my attention, but it's December use year. So I'm always looking, Sue. I shouldn't be. I'm always looking. It's just so dangerous.
Oh, add-on-itis
dangerous
hits
doing
us all.
this show. It's just yeah. So okay, back to our Vero Beach. Back in the game, Chad. Back in the game. Quit daydreaming over add-on-itis here. But yeah, closing cost $789. Total purchase price $16,000.
Yep, and that's everything. That's your closing costs. That's your dues for 2025, and you're getting 300 points right off the bat this October.
Yeah, and you can book them as soon as you can book something as soon as you close on the contract and the points show up. Right, you could borrow those in and do something really fast. You could bank them and do something later. You get a beach cottage there, Sue.
That's what I was thinking.
That's what I'd be doing with Vero.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, a guy can dream. A guy can dream. So okay, next one, Stu.
Yep,
this one, another certified hot price.
Another certified hot price. It's Old Key West. It is not extended. But the reason why I picked this one is you're getting 282 points that you didn't pay dues on. So it's a December contract. You have 282 points out of the 210. That 210 are completely bankable. The others were banked from last year, from December of 2023, and would have to be used before December 1st of 2025. But it's, I mean,
doable with, you got to stock for some cancellations near November.
Yep.
So it's definitely doable.
And if you're not going to vacation this year, take those points and then make a reservation and rent it out.
Yeah. And I mean, that's whatever you get for it. Even if you only get like $10 a point or $8 a point, that's free money.
Right.
Right. That's $10 a point. That's still $920 coming back into your pocket for those 92 points.
Correct.
So, yeah.
And quite a few contracts, Chad, like this one. There are people who they bought them early on and their kids used them. The grandkids used them when they were smaller, but now the grandkids are growing up and they're not using them.
Oh,
Some
okay.
people are actually losing points, so they've gotten to a point where they're like, it's time to sell it.
Got it. So you know the seller here, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the great thing about the resale agents is sometimes it's their listing or they know the people and know the story. And it sounds like, vacations you never outgrow, which I think is a great marketing line of hooey because your interests change. It sounds to me like grandkids kind of outgrew this.
Hmm.
Maybe they're in the late teen years and they really don't want to come to Disney.
Right.
And so, yeah, they're in the we don't want to come phase, and the parents are older because they've got teen grandkids and maybe they don't want to come.
Right.
But let me tell you something. As soon as some great grandkids hit the scene,
They'd come.
they'll come. They'll come.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
So, yeah, it makes sense to me that, the original owners back here with their grandkids not wanting to come anymore. Okay, it makes sense, and most people have more than one contract. So maybe they're just amputating one, or this could be their only one. I don't know.
Right.
But, yeah, that makes sense to me, Sue. It really truly does. And $91 a point with all those extra points,
Yep.
you could rent those out and take $10 off from the rentals right there.
Correct. Correct.
It's yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's the
okay.
nice thing. Those are to me, they're free points because you're not paying any dues on them. And if you wanted to, you could rent them out and get a couple $1,000s to plunk back down on the price.
Yeah. If you did get, $2,200, it'd bring this contract to 20 grand out the door,
Right.
for your net price there. Not a bad deal. Not a bad
Nope.
deal. Okay. I love me some double point contracts, Sue. I'm not going to lie. I love me some double point
Yep.
contracts.
And you have one here again. You've got October of 2024, and again, 250 of those 311 points are completely bankable. And if you were to buy this, most likely seeing that your use year, you'd have to bank them by the end of May. We would probably have the seller bank them for you if that's what you wanted to do, unless you wanted to use them this fall. And again, 311 points that you didn't pay dues on. So you've got a little over double points on this one. And it's at $105 a point. This one is not a certified hot price, which means it is negotiable.
Yeah. And it just got listed today. Look at this listing date.
Yep.
Talk about great marketing. Like these people are getting their bang for their buck, man.
Yep.
It's coming back in and we're doing a live show and stream on their deal. So yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Extra points. I'm all in. I am all in on extra points. I think that's one of the awesome things about buying resale is you can find these gems that come with extra points on them. And yeah, I'm all in on that at no cost. Right. So
right.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a great deal. And Saratoga Springs, again, I think it's a great resort. It used to be the best networking resort out there because it had the lowest dues.
Yep.
And now the dues have kind of crept up there after the refurb and everything else, but everybody else is going to go through refurbs and see there's creep too. So I still think
they're still reasonable.
They're
Definitely
still
reasonable.
854 is still very reasonable for dues.
Correct.
Here. Very, very, very much so. Very, very much so. Okay, Sue. Final Sue special listing here. Lay it on us.
Okay, so this one is another old Key West, and it is a certified hot price. But I chose it because if you look at the price, $81 a point for 230 points, and you have full points for 2025. We were seeing prices of $81 where it was a stripped contract, no points in 24, no points in 2025, some points in 2026. And this is at $81 a point, and it has full points coming this August. So I thought that this was a really good deal. And again,
let me pop back over here. You know what? I wish there was a thing over here that said, hey, what was, the last month's average that was on all of these listings. I'll put that on my Nick wish list here, so I don't have to switch tabs.
Okay, so
but just looking at this,
last
98.
month,
yeah, $98 was average price, and we're talking 81.
Mm-hmm.
Holy!
I mean,
cow.
this is a steal. This is a steal. And keep in mind that the point chart for Old Key West was the original, it was the first resort that they had. And the point chart has great rooms at very low points.
Yeah, 230 points at Old Key West will go a long ways.
When I first bought in 1991, when you first bought into the vacation club, it was just Old Key West at the time. And the minimum you could buy was 230 points. And they showed you how many vacations you could get out of it, that I could come down 2 to 3 times a year for 4 days here and 3 days here and then 5 days here. And yeah, it goes a long way.
Yeah, like Randy, our DVC lifestyle, right?
Yeah. When we were on, Randy's like me, when we were on the plane going back to Connecticut, and immediately we'd start planning when are we
the
coming
only
back?
cure for the Disney blues, Sue. That's the best thing about DVC is you're coming back.
Yep.
And it's the only cure for the Disney blues is to start planning your next Disney vacation.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, so I guess average sales price was $84 in looking at the listings, because I got it confused with Saratoga. I just had to pop back over there and look at that. But still,
when you take a look at that 84, keep in mind when we do the average price that is for large contracts, which sell for a lot less, and small contracts. So it kind of averages out in there, but we don't know how many large contracts we had in there or stripped down contracts that were sold either.
Yeah, and at 230, this is a mid-size.
Yep. So, mid-size, but full points, Chad.
Yeah. I'm game, Sue. I'm game. So, okay. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up this show here, and switch camera views here back to both of us. And we'll got our banner sitting here going. Let me update that. So, Sue, if people want to get a hold of you, Sue at dvcresalemarket.com, and that's SUE to spell Sue, 407-738-0696. That's your cell phone.
My cell phone, and they can text me or they can call me at that number.
Yes. So just don't send a smoke signal, because I don't know that we're going to see that in Orlando. Like, we don't,
no.
This ain't California. You know what I'm saying? No smoke signals. Like, we had enough of that over there in California.
Right.
But text, email, phone call, any of the above will work. And okay, Sue, any other final advice today or parting thoughts for us today?
No, I think that if people look and see something that they're interested in and you have questions, don't hesitate to give us a call and or get online and chat with us. We're there to help you, and we're there to help you get what you need for your family, the type of points or package that you need for your family. But don't wait too long. If you see something out there that you like, don't wait too long, because they are going fast.
Yeah. And, I think everybody takes a turn rotating, answering, the direct or the broker number and emails and broker chat. And I just pulled up the broker chat because it's always sitting down here in the bottom right-hand corner.
Yep.
And, luckily I kind of like it. It seems like normally when I prep, I have to come back in here and minimize this button every week. And I didn't have to on any of these tabs, but it's nice. Always down there. And it's not as
right.
But it's just, and you guys are just a chat away. If anybody has questions, want to place an offer, talk to anybody about doing it. Again, do your research before you buy anything. Stream each of our shows, listen to them, talk to other members, like do what you need to do to your education level and comfort level. And if you need to reach out to Sue or any of her workers here and questions, make you comfortable in your DVC decision journeys.
Yep.
So, okay. Well, that wraps up today. I want to do a huge shout out thanks to Sue for joining us, and Sue at DVC Resale Market 407-730-0696. And huge shout out thanks to DVC Resale Market, DVC Store, and Monera Financial, and all of our Patreon members for your ongoing support. Hopefully you learned something in today's show that'll help you go out there and plan something magical for your family. Good night, everybody. We'll catch you in the next episode.
Good night.